You really believe life plays fair? That if you follow the rules, grind every day, and stay out of trouble, success is just gonna land in your lap? Wake up, Chico. The game is rigged. It always has been. The ones who tell you to follow the rules, they ain't following them. The ones who tell you to be patient, to wait your turn, they're out there taking what they want while you sit around like some dumb kid waiting for permission. If you wanna win, you gotta learn the game. And once you learn it, you gotta break it. You ever wonder why the ones at the top stay at the top? You think it's because they're smarter? Nah. It's because they figured out the truth before the rest of you. The world ain't about fairness. It's about leverage. It's about power. It's about knowing the right people and making the right moves before anyone else even knows the game started. The suckers, they follow the rules, they work their asses off, they try to do everything the right way, and then they watch some idiot who barely put in half the effort walk away with everything. Why? Because that idiot understood something they didn't. The rules, they're for the sheep. The rules don't follow it. Look around. You see the guy working 12 hours a day, busting his ass, never asking for nothing, always doing what he's told. He's still broke, still stuck. Meanwhile, the guy who figured out how to use people, how to bend the rules without breaking them, is sitting in the penthouse, looking down on the rest. That ain't luck, Chico. That's knowing how to play the game. And if you don't learn, you're gonna be stuck being someone else's stepping stone. Let me tell you something. Power don't come from playing fair. Power comes from knowing what you can get away with. It comes from seeing the cracks in the system and using them. It comes from making moves in silence while everybody else is talking about how unfair life is. You ever notice that? The people who complain the most about fairness, about how life ain't treating them right, they're the same ones waiting for someone to fix it for them. Nobody's coming to save you, Chico. Nobody's gonna hand you what you want. You either take it or you get left behind. You gotta be 2 steps ahead. You gotta see the angles before they even appear. You gotta understand that the real power isn't following the rules, it's making people believe. That's the real trick. You don't gotta break the law to break the system. You just gotta be smarter than the ones who built it. Find the loopholes, find the weak spots, and when the time comes, exploit them. Because I promise you, if you don't, somebody else will. And they won't feel bad about it either. They tell you to be honest, to be loyal, to be a good little worker. Yeah? Where does that get you? A pat on the back, a fake smile? Maybe a couple of crumbs while they sit at the table feasting? Nah. You wanna eat? You gotta take your seat at the table, not wait for an invitation. So let me tell you something they ain't sending. They're too busy making sure you never even see the damn door. You wanna get ahead? Learn the game. Watch how the ones in charge move. Look at the way they talk, the way they carry themselves, the way they make people think they're playing fair while they're pulling all the strings behind the scenes. That's how you win. You gotta be like smoke everywhere and nowhere at the same time. You gotta make them think you're one of them until the day you decide you ain't. But don't get it twisted. This ain't about cheating. It ain't about doing people dirty just because you can. Nah, that's small town thinking. You want to be big? You gotta be better than that. You gotta play smarter. Move when they least expect it. Strike when they think you're weak. You see, the biggest mistake people make is thinking that just because they followed the rules, they're owed something. That's not how this works. The system don't owe you nothing. Life don't owe you nothing. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can start moving like a real player. Look, you got 2 choices in this life. You can be the guy waiting in line, hoping someone notices you, hoping the world gives you a fair shot. Or you can be the guy who walks past the line straight into the building because he already made the right calls, talked to the right people, put himself in the right position. You tell me which one sounds better. You scared? You think maybe this ain't for you? That's fine. The game don't need more players. It needs more suckers. More people willing to believe in the fairy tale of hard work and patience while the real ones make moves. You can stay there if you want. Keep your head down, follow the rules, do what you're told. Just don't be surprised when you wake up one day and realize you spent your whole life making someone else rich, making someone else powerful, while you got left with the scraps. Or you can open your eyes. You can start thinking, start watching, start learning. And then when the moment's right, you take what's yours. You make the move they never saw coming. And when they ask how you did it, when they ask how you got ahead while they were still waiting for their turn, you just smile. Because by then you already know the truth. The game is rigged, so play smarter. You think this world plays fair? You think if you just keep grinding, someone's gonna come along and hand you what you deserve? Nah, Chico, that ain't how it works. The only people who get what they deserve are the ones who take it. The ones who ain't afraid to do what the others won't. The ones who look at the game, see it's rigged, and instead of crying about it, they find a way to win anyway. You ever hear someone complain about how life ain't fair? How the rich get richer and the poor stay poor? They ain't wrong. The game is designed that way. You think the ones at the top want you to make it? Think they want more competition? Hell no. They want you to stay right where you are, working, hoping, waiting, believing in that lie they keep selling. Work hard, stay humble, be patient. You know who made up those rules? The ones who already won. The ones who don't want you to figure out that the only way up is by making your own way. You got two choices. Stay blind and keep following the path they laid out for you. Or wake up and realize the truth. Everything they taught you was meant to keep you in check. They don't want you thinking for yourself. They don't want you making your own moves. They want you controlled, predictable, playing a game where they hold all the cards. You really think they play by the same rules they tell you to follow? You really think the billionaires, the bosses, the ones running the world got there by being nice little worker bees? No. They got there by knowing the system inside out and bending it in their favor while everyone else was too busy playing by the book. You ever wonder why the guy who does all the work gets paid the least? Why the one breaking his back is living paycheck to paycheck while the guy sitting in the office cashes in? It ain't because the boss is smart. It ain't because he works harder. It's because he owns the game. He don't follow the rules, she makes them. He don't wait his turn, he takes it. You ever see a lion waiting in line at a buffet? No, man. The lion eats first. That's how this world works. You either take your place at the table or you spend your life serving the ones who did. So what do? You learn, you watch, you move in silence. You don't complain about how unfair it is, you figure out how to make it work for you. You stop expecting people to do right by you. You stop thinking someone's gonna recognize your worth just because you work hard. You make them recognize it. You make them see that you ain't like the rest, that you ain't waiting for permission, that you're gonna take what's yours whether they like it or not. But listen to me. You can't move like a fool. You can't go charging in, thinking just because you're hungry, the world's gonna open up for you. Hunger ain't enough. You gotta be smart. You gotta understand people. You gotta know when to push and when to pull back, when to make noise and when to keep quiet. The real power moves, they happen inside. The loudest one in the room is usually the weakest. You wanna win, you gotta think 3 steps ahead. You gotta make people believe they're in control right up until the moment they realize you were playing them the whole time. And don't think for a second this is about being a bad guy. This ain't about screwing people over just to get ahead. That's amateur hour. You don't get to the top by burning every bridge. You get there by knowing when to play nice, when to make alliances, and when to cut someone loose. You think the ones in charge do everything alone? No. They got networks, they got connections. They know how to make people useful, how to get what they need without giving away too much in return. That's the game, Chico. Not just making money, not just getting power, controlling the board without anyone even realizing you're the one pulling the strings. But let me tell you the hardest part, the part nobody warns you about. Once you see the truth, once you start moving different, you're gonna be alone. The ones who used to be your friends, they ain't gonna like the new you, They liked you better when you were struggling, when you were one of them, when you were waiting in line just like they were. The second you start winning, the second you start making moves, watch how fast they turn. Watch how they start saying, you changed. Yeah, you changed. You got smarter. You stopped playing their little game and started playing your own. You gotta be ready for that. You gotta be ready for people to doubt you, to talk about you, to try and pull you back down. That's part of it. That's how you know you're doing something right. Because if nobody's mad, if nobody's watching, you ain't making big enough moves. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them sit around complaining about how unfair life is while you're out there making it work for you. The ones who win, they don't waste time on emotions. They don't let feelings get in the way of business. They don't care who likes them, who approves, who thinks they deserve success. They take it, they build it, they protect it, and they keep moving forward. And that's what you gotta do. You gotta be relentless. You gotta wake up every day knowing that nobody's gonna hand you anything. That if you stop moving, if you stop thinking ahead, if you get comfortable, someone else is gonna take what you got. This ain't about being the toughest. It ain't about being the loudest. It's about being the smartest, the most disciplined, the one who sees things before they happen, who makes the right call before anyone else even knows there's a decision to be made. That's how you win the great game. Not by playing fair, not by waiting your turn. By playing smarter than everyone else at the table. And when you finally get there, when you're the one calling the shots, when you're the one sitting at the top, remember how you got there. Remember that nobody gave you a damn thing, and never, ever let them take it from you. You think once you make it, the game gets easier? Nah, Chico. That's the biggest lie they tell you. The real game don't start until you got something to lose. When you're climbing, people ignore you. They don't see you as a threat. But the second you get to the top, that's when they start coming. That's when they smile in your face while sharpening the knife behind their back. You thought getting there was hard? Try staying there. Try keeping everything you built while the whole world is looking for a way to take it from you. That's when you find out who you really are. You see, the problem with most people is they get comfortable. They win a little, they taste success, and they think the fight is over. That's when they start slipping. That's when they stop watching their back. And that's exactly when they get knocked off the throne. You can't let that happen. You gotta move like you're still hungry, like you still got nothing. Even when you're sitting on top, you gotta think like the guy who's still in the gutter, still clawing his way out. Because the second you forget that, the second you start believing you're untouchable, you're done. Let me tell you something, power don't make you safe, money don't make you safe, success don't make you safe. They all just put a bigger target on your back. The more you got, the more people want to see you lose. You think they're happy for you? You think they're clapping because they respect you? Nah, man, they're just waiting. Waiting for you to slip, waiting for you to make that one mistake so they can tear you down and feel better about their own pathetic lives. That's the truth. So what do? You stay sharp, you keep your circle small, you never let anyone think they got you figured out. The second they know your next move, you already lost. You keep them guessing. You stay 3 steps ahead. And most of all, you don't let emotions get in the way of business. That's where most people mess up. They let feelings make decisions. They get too close, too trusting, too soft. That's how they get played. That's how they lose everything. You gotta be cold when it comes to protecting what's yours. You can't afford to second guess, to hesitate, to wonder if you're being too harsh. Weakness don't get you sympathy, it gets you eaten. The world don't respect nice guys. It respects power, it respects control. You think the ones running things care about being liked? Nah, they care about one thing, winning. And if you want to stay in this game, you better start thinking the same way. But don't get it twisted. This ain't about walking around acting tough. It ain't about flexing or making enemies for no reason. That's small-time thinking. That's for fools who want to be feared more than they want to be successful. You don't gotta prove how dangerous you are to people who ain't even worth your time. That's wasted energy. You want to be truly untouchable? Then make yourself irreplaceable. Make yourself so valuable that they can't move without you. That's real power. Not just being feared, but being needed. That's why you gotta control the flow. The flow of money, the flow of opportunity, the flow of influence. You gotta be the one people come to, not the one chasing after scraps. That's how you win in a game that's designed for you to lose. You take control of the things they don't want you to notice. You make sure you're the one who decides who eats and who starves. That's how the real players move. Not by force, but by control. And you gotta remember, nothing lasts forever. What you got today can be gone tomorrow if you ain't careful. That's why you don't just build wealth, you build leverage. You build power that don't rely on one thing, one deal, one connection. You spread it out. You make sure that if one door closes, you already got 5 more open. You never let them box you in, never let them think they got you cornered. That's how you stay ahead. You ever see a king go to war without a plan? Nah. The ones who win, they see the battle before it even starts. They know every move, every outcome, every weakness before anyone else even realizes what's happening. That's how you gotta move. Like a king, like a general. Like someone who ain't just reacting to the game, but controlling it from the shadows. And let me tell you something else. If you ever fall, if you ever lose it all, that ain't the end. That's just another move in the game. Most people, they break when they lose. They let the defeat crush them. That's why they never come back. But the real ones take that hit, stand back up, come back twice as strong. You know why? Because they understand that losing ain't failure. Staying down is. The ones at the top, they've all lost before. You think they never failed? You think they never made mistakes? Nah, Chico. They just never let those mistakes define them. They learned. They adapted. They came back harder. That's the difference between a winner and a loser. A loser lets the game break him. A winner figures out how to play better next time. So don't you ever let a setback stop you. Don't you ever let one loss make you think it's over. The only way it's over is if you quit. And quitting, that ain't in the blood of a real hustler. That ain't in the DNA of a real king. You get up, you sharpen your mind, and you go again. Because the game is always moving. And if you ain't in it, you're watching someone else take what should have been yours. And when you get back up, when you start moving again, you don't go back the same. You go back smarter. You go back stronger. You go back knowing exactly what went wrong and making sure it never happens again. That's how you turn losses into wins. That's how you make sure that next time you ain't just playing the game you're running it. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is about. Not just surviving, not just getting by, owning the damn board, making sure that when people think about the game, they think about you. Making sure that when moves are being made, they don't happen unless you say so. That's what separates the ones who make it from the ones who don't. And the best part, I never see it coming. Because while they were following the rules, while they were waiting their turn, while they were playing fair, you were out here figuring out how to take what's yours. And now that you got it, you ain't ever letting it go. Because once you understand the truth, once you see how the game is really played, you can never go back to being blind. You can never go back to waiting. You can never go back to being just another piece on someone else's board. You control the game, you control the power, and the ones who thought they were ahead, the ones who thought they had it all figured out, they ain't ready for what's coming. They ain't ready for it. Because by the time they realize what happened, by the time they see how you moved, how you flipped the whole damn system on its head, it'll already be too late. And that, Chico, is how you win a rigged game. You don't play by their rules. You don't wait for permission. You take it, you own it, and you never ever let them take it back.